versus number 4 ranked Curtis Razor Blaydes as a minus 300 favorite against the plus 250 comeback, and number 6 ranked Bigi Boy JAIRZINHO Rozenstruik. Man, big heavyweight contest, and these are both the. I mean, I don't want to call this like a loser bowl necessarily, right? But listen. Both of these dudes been knocked out by Francis Ngannou. Both of these dudes haven't been able to kind of like make it to the actual pinnacle, that top like 3. I guess Curtis Blaydes is 4, but really that top 3, right? They're like the odd men out in there. However, they're way too good to be anything really further than number 6, right? So being top 6 at 265 in the world, come on, man, very impressive. But nonetheless, man, Curtis Blaydes coming off of a devastating uppercut knockout to Derek the Black Beast Lewis. Not looking good, man, but I think that he's put that one in the past. He's been at peace with it, and he's ready to fight Bigi Boy, another kickboxer. He's done it against Alistair Overeem, man. He's done it against Alexander Volkov, Junior Dos Santos, man. Heavyweight kickboxers. Not really too much of an issue for Curtis Blaydes. Now, we know the kryptonite of Rozenstruik is being put on his back. He's a kickboxer after all, right? So, minus 300 odds for Curtis Blaydes. Pretty reasonable, right?
Oh, yeah, pretty reasonable on this one. I mean, especially when you think of the kryptonite of JAIRZINHO Rozenstruik and how, or I guess the thought that everybody has of Curtis Blaydes, you think he's a wrestler off the jump. He does have very good striking, but you think this dude is going to be wrestling no matter what. You almost compare him to like a Derek Brunson of sorts, where he's just wrestling heavy all day long. Or JAIRZINHO Rozenstruik, you put him on the mat, man. He's a fish out of water of sorts. Do you actually think this one is going to be a kickboxing match, or where JAIRZINHO Rozenstruik is actually able to get it done, or is Curtis Blaydes going to be back to his ground and pound ways?
I think if Curtis Blaydes learned his lesson from the Derek Lewis fight, and that lesson is do not fall in love with the hands, bro. Don't fall in love with the hands. Execute your game plan, and listen, I think you'll be able to get the job done. I do think Curtis Blaydes said it in his pre-fight presser, man. He was all like, listen, y'all know what I want to do. He says, I'll go for the KO just because I know y'all will write that in print and whatever, but you know what I'm trying to do. I want to get him to the ground. He doesn't want to go to the ground. May the best man win. And that's Curtis Blaydes' game plan, and you got to stick to it, man. Like, there's not a lot of people who can do what he does in the top 5 of the heavyweight division, really. They're all kind of kickboxers. I'm saying? Stipe is the only one who probably had, like, really good wrestling, right? And now Francis Ngannou, the patient Francis, right? Something we haven't seen before from the man. We've only seen it from one fight. But for Curtis Blaydes, man, do we not remember? I said it when we were breaking down the Derek Lewis versus Cyril Gane fight. Curtis Blaydes was winning the fight until he lost, bro. He was piecing him up on the feet. He was having fun. He was doing his thing. And when he finally said, all right, now I'm going to go for the takedown, it was like way too telegraphed. You know what I'm saying? He just went same side as he always does. Derek Lewis hit him with his wrist, knocked him out. So I think if he learned his lesson from that, man, it should be rinse, wash, repeat. However, JAIRZINHO Rozenstruik, we got to show the man a little bit of love, man, because he had a really big bounce back fight against Augusto Sakai. However, that was basically a kickboxer versus a kickboxing match, man. So do you think Rozenstruik, because we know he has one punch power, do you think he would be able to get the job done on Curtis Blaydes prior to him landing a takedown? I really doubt that we're going to see another one of on the entry uppercut knockout again. If that's the case, man, that's lightning striking twice or whatever the phrase goes, man. I don't see it happening, but how do you see that playing out?
I think it could. I mean, obviously anything can happen in this game, but the thing about Rozenstruik is he's a lot faster than people think he is, man. He's, you think a big heavyweight, Bigi Boy, he's kind of a plotter around. He's not really bouncing around on his feet, but those hands are lightning fast, man. And then he's got hands of stone too. He cracks you. It's going to be a good one. And then with his, kickboxing background, he's got the technique in order to get it done. This one for me though, man, a lot of times people, they play it out like, especially with the Derek Lewis knockout, that he, like you said, he fell in love with Curtis Blaydes fell in love with his hands, and you'd fall in love with your hands against JAIRZINHO Rozenstruik. It's going to be a very long night for you. But my biggest thing with Curtis Blaydes on this one, man, is his mental game seems to not be the sharpest as everyone else. I know in that Derek Lewis fight, I think he poked him in the eye and he was like super apologetic. He's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry like that. You can't be like that in the cage, man. It's kill or be killed. And then that's exactly what happened is Curtis Blaydes kind of got a little bit out of his element, kind of started falling in love with his hands. Like you said, gets the KO knockout. He does it again against Bigi Boy, who is very, very mean in there. Very mean, very fast. He's going to be a lights out again. So I think that's how it happens, man. Curtis Blaydes kind of gets in that mental game, kind of starts thinking about it, kind of not really in his element, kind of starts fighting JAIRZINHO's fight. That's where the KO happens. What do you think?
Well, you know what, man? I want to push back a little bit on the temperament of JAIRZINHO Rozenstruik. I do agree he has a mean face in there, right? But he seems a little reserved to me in the cage. You know what I mean? What do we see against Cyril Gane? It's just kind of the sitting back, just waiting, tentative, just kind of a look of concern in a way. You know what I mean? That's what I read. I was like, he just looks a little concerned, like he's reacting. You know what I mean? But you got to sometimes be a little comfortable and get in there and be like, all right, I'm going to assert my dominance. I'm not going to let Curtis Blaydes walk me down back against the cage so he can grab me, get the double, and put me on my butt, because that's how I see the fight playing out unless Rozenstruik says, fuck that, I'm walking forward, I'm leading the dance. So that's the big question. Who leads the dance, AJ? Who do you think?
That's a hard one, man, because I think Curtis Blaydes gets used to not leading the dance. I think he's okay with being on the back foot. So I do think JAIRZINHO Rozenstruik leads the dance on this one a little bit. And, Curtis Blaydes, he's going to be pulling the classic wrestler thing where you're leading the dance, leading it till my back hits the cage, and then I'm shooting that double underneath. Or, like you said, he always classically shoots to that one, I think it's to his opponent's left side, if I'm not mistaken. But either way, I feel like JAIRZINHO Rozenstruik is going to be leading the dance, especially with his technique and prowess on the feet.
Yeah. Well, you know what, man? I don't know. I don't really see it playing out that way because I've seen Rozenstruik be comfortable on the back foot as well. He was against Cyril Gane, who didn't have that takedown threat really against him. And let's not forget, man, Curtis Blaydes, he currently leads the heavyweight division in takedowns landed by, like, not even by a close mark, man. It's by a ridiculous mark. He has 59 takedowns, number one in the heavyweight division amongst current fighters. Number two, if you had to guess, AJ, let's play. I want you to just take a guess on this. Out of the top five of the heavyweight division, who do you think of the top five fighters has the second most takedowns in the heavyweight division?
Of the current top five right now?
Yep.
Ooh, I'd probably have to say Stipe.
Very easy, right? Guess. It's Stipe, yeah. It is Stipe, but he has 25 takedowns, right? So not only has Curtis Blaydes doubled that, but he's got a little more plus double that, right? So that's what I'm talking about. When you have a dude with the NJC double A All-American, right? Come on, and Curtis Blaydes, a junior college national, All-American. Come on, what are we talking about? Like, this dude is legit. The wrestling is legit. The hands are legit. For JAIRZINHO Rozenstruik, man, he just got to come ready and he got to come prepared, man. It sucks because these are the matchups where we get on the big pay-per-view cards where I'm a big fan of both fighters. I don't want to see either fighter lose. But at the end of the day, man, when you have a wrestler and a BJJ blue belt, not the most impressive, but nonetheless, I mean, come on, you got jiu-jitsu acumen. When you got that versus just a dude who is basically just a kickboxer, come on, man. This is mixed martial arts. This is not kickboxing, right? So that's the name of the game that we play. Now, 4-1 is Curtis Blaydes in his last five, and arguably, if he would have got the win against Derek Lewis, he would have been fighting for the title next. Maybe. He probably would have been the odd man out because of the John Jones situation. But JAIRZINHO Rozenstruik, he hasn't really come that close, right? Do you think he's really come close to the title shot? I think he's come close to being able to fight for like a number one contender, but not a title shot, right?
Yeah, I agree with that sentiment wholeheartedly. If he would have beat Cyril Gane, and then again, had again a number one contender fight. Not really necessarily. He doesn't have the pull or the draw, especially in the long term. He's very, very what it's saying, like a flash in the pan. JAIRZINHO Rozenstruik really hit the scene and kind of looked really good, but not necessarily had the longevity that needs to be fighting for the title.
Gotcha. So last thing that I want to ask on this one, man, is this is just very telling to me. Out of Bigi Boy's 12 career wins, 11 of them have come via knockout. 1 of them have come via decision. So basically, if he's not knocking you out, he's kind of not winning, right? Now, Curtis Blaydes, as a wrestler, right, of his 14 wins, 10 via knockout, 4 via decision. He can do both. It's all good. Neither fighter have any submission wins. Neither fighter have been submitted. So when it comes down to it, AJ, man, the odds are, and obviously the odds are already clearly in favor of Curtis Blaydes, but just the odds when we talk about these type of metrics, for JAIRZINHO Rozenstruik to live and die by the knockout, it kind of spells your own kind of losses in a way, right? So
yeah, it really does.
Yeah, man. With that being said, at the end of the day, let's give our picks, man. Who do you got and why?
Me, Derek, I know I was hyping up JAIRZINHO Rozenstruik a little bit on this one, man, but I'm going Curtis Blaydes KO round 3. Oh. I think it's Curtis's time, my man. I think he's very much so tired of being that odd man out. And I know he's not really necessarily like the most media presence. He doesn't have like the smoothest talk, or, he's not that silver tongue salesman that we're seeing, promoting his fights and all that stuff. But I do think it's his time to come back and actually get the job done, man. He's been looking good. He was, like you said, he was winning the fight against Derek Lewis until he wasn't. That's how the fight game goes. But I think he's going to get back to his razor blade ways. We're going to see Jairzinho Rozenstruik cut up a little bit. I'm going Curtis Blaydes KO round 3. What about you?
I'm basically in the same boat, man, but I'm going to go specifically TKO round 3 for Curtis Razor Blaydes. And I want you guys to remember the nickname Razor Blaydes. The reason why is because I see the fight going, he gets on top of him, throws them elbows down all day, cuts Rozenstruik up, and whether we get a tap via strikes or we get just a clean TKO, man, I think that's what I envision happening. I just don't think Rozenstruik and his 80% takedown defense, though it is impressive, I don't think it'll be enough because Curtis Blaydes is going to be shooting all fight long. All 3 rounds, he's going to shoot until he gets the takedown, and unless you can knock him out or prevent him from shooting, I mean, he's going to keep shooting. So, you know what I mean? Listen, man, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, man. So